My name is Shina Mahmood. I'm the founder of Yournotify. My expertise is in tech and marketing, and I've been in this space close to 10 years now. And I go by the idea that for us to really have a superb solution in the ecosystem, which is Nigerian market, we need to leverage on tactics, strategies, and of course, efficiency when it comes to how we manage customer communication across multiple channels. Today, we'll be talking about email, SMS, and WhatsApp, building modern customer communication stack in 2026. So before I dive into more about the topic, so I would like to introduce my guest today. I always go by those who have massive experience in the industry, so they have better knowledge and understanding. So we are having Mabel Adeteye, I think I got that right, joining us today. She's the head brands and marketing communication at Wema Bank PLC. So I would like you to do some introduction for us, Mabel.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for having me here. I know there's been a lot of conversation on the tools and the channels that we use to communicate to our audience, target audience, irrespective of the industry that we find ourselves. I think one major thing we need to look at is the channels are there, but consumers and customers, they have their preference. They also have their behavior, and understanding them helps to guide you on how best to communicate with them. And I think that's largely what we will be looking at today, vis-a-vis the channels, the platforms that are available, and how to ensure that we're able to drive impactful communication based on our objectives. I've been in this industry for over 16 years, and this is what I've always done: communication in general, understanding who my target audience is or are, depending on the conversation that I'm driving, and understanding how they want me to communicate with them, understanding again what my objectives are in terms of the communication that I want to drive with them. And that gives some level of understanding on when to communicate, how to communicate with them, and then to ensure that I drive my objectives overall. I think largely today we will be dissecting all of these things, and I'm ready, and I hope that I can do justice to the conversation today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mabel. Thank you so much. A very, very interesting introduction. So just to even give clarity a bit, my experience largely, especially with the type of customers that we have when it comes to the B2B, they are SMEs, SMBs, so obviously not enterprise like I would say, let's say Wema Bank and Co. But we are also trying to say, Wema started from somewhere, 9PSB started from somewhere, every business started from somewhere. So what are the things, obviously, some of these small businesses can leverage on as well to grow? One of the most, I wouldn't say controversial, but one of the common questions that we get asked when it comes to, you should try this, you should use this channel. It's always about the cost, right? So they always say, how much are they going to spend on this, on that? They don't want to spend so much. So some of those things, obviously, I would like you to give clarity as we continue on those things, creating affordable sort of solution that can work for your stage as a, should I say, small business. So that way, if they, in their case, if they are spending, let's say, 5 million or 10 million as a budget, it must always bring, 100 million back, because they want to justify why they are spending that amount of money. Obviously, we'll get there as well as we continue our conversation. So I'm just going to dive in now. And again, for those who are just joining us, my name is Shina Mahmood. I'm the founder of Yournotify. And then we have our guest today, Mabel Adeteye. So she'll be discussing with us on some of the interesting things we want to share today. 1 second, bear with me. Trying to position my screen. Okay, so let's get started. My first question for today is, why is customer communication changing so quickly in 2026? I mean, if we look back at 5 years ago, or even 8 years ago, roughly, WhatsApp wasn't that big. But of course, we have email and then we have SMS. Even till today, most of our own customers, because that's where my use case is going to be coming from, they, if we ask them, oh, what's your preferred channel, or when they are reaching out for inquiry, it is always SMS, SMS, SMS. And that's okay, because they feel like email, how many people are reading their email? That's a huge topic on its own that we have to talk about another day. But then WhatsApp is coming in, and it is huge when it comes to where Nigerians are currently. So I would like you to share your thoughts and experience on what are the, where are customer, why customer communication are changing in 2026, and what do you think are some of the effects for the change, and how business can adapt to the change?
Thank you for that question. And I was just taking notes when you were asking. In terms of the areas that I think I would like to touch on that. So your question is why, so we have tools now, there's WhatsApp, now that we even use to drive WhatsApp business, which people use a lot now for communication. So why is customer communication changing quickly? I think for me, I think if we understand customer behavior, right, I think we won't look at it that their communication is changing, because the what do you call it? The platform will keep evolving. So we have WhatsApp today. Tomorrow another one can come in. Again, that there will be modification to how those platforms actually serve people. So it's not that the platform really changing and that should be the focus. It is that we need to look at consumer themselves. We've gone past the age where customers, consumers, either B2B or B2C, would compare the experience that they have with your brand, your product, solely because they have tested another platform or another brand in your industry or your category. We've gone past that age. What customers are looking for now is the experience. Is the experience that they've had in similar situation that they find themselves. And I'll give a typical example. So you have somebody who maybe wanted to buy a ticket, and getting the ticket, it was seamless to input all your data, get your notification on your ticket referencing and all of that. And it was seamless compared to somebody who had issue purchasing the ticket and then sent in some kind of inquiries to say that I had issue purchasing my ticket. And then the next thing you're seeing is you are maybe seeing automated communication that is maybe selling another product. So largely what customers are looking for right now is they are judging you based on the experience that they see. It's not that customer communication is really changing because of technology, because of new platform, because this platform are evolving. It's changing because people have fundamental experience, the way they want to experience your brand. They have their own need. They have their understanding of what the experience should be for me, what the journey should look at. A customer doesn't just compare your communication, your engagement anymore because you are because they find your competitors in the same industry. They compare it based on their own fundamental experience, how they feel that this thing should be seamless. They compare it with the best experience they've had with other similar brands, with other engagement that they've had over time. So you find some people, either they are trying to order a ride, either they are trying to purchase tickets, either they are trying to purchase what do you call it, airtime on the banking app. The experience for them is truly what expectation on how they want you to communicate them. The experience that they have today would guide them on, oh, should I be asking for more today? And I'll give another example. So imagine if it was seamless for me to purchase a ticket, it was seamless for me to purchase airtime on your banking app today. I automatically set that experience as the standard that I want to get anytime I'm purchasing a ticket or that I'm purchasing airtime, because I see it as something that connects and relates with me. It was smooth. There's no platform telling me that this is what the experience should be. It's just that it connects with me and I automatically set it as a standard. That means that customers now expect communication to be timely. They want you to understand them. They want it to be useful to them as at the time that they need it. They expect brands to recognize their need. They expect brands to understand the journey. They expect brands to understand what best way should I communicate with you, because I understand how it is seamless for you, or what exactly is the need that you're looking for at this particular moment. You're buying airtime on the banking app, for instance. It's because you don't want to go to the roadside to buy airtime. Then it means that it must be seamless, it must be quick, it must be fast. One thing I've learned over time working with different industries and in different brands is that customers are not constantly thinking of the channel that they engage with. They are thinking of how seamless, how easy, what the experience is like. Sum it up. What exactly is the experience that I get from you is what I'm looking at, irrespective of the channel. Yeah. So I think, again, because we are in the age of AI, we are in the age of artificial intelligence, where a lot of platforms are being adopted, a lot of messaging keeps coming over and over again, and the automation is something that we look at these days. If you don't carefully understand what the demand is from this customer, from this consumer, what will happen is you're focusing on the channel alone to say that it is WhatsApp, definitely this, it is LinkedIn, it must be professional. If you're constantly looking at it that way, what will happen is you are not fitting the communication style, messaging into what they want, irrespective of the platform. So overall for me is that it's not about the technology, it's not about the platform, it is that customers' expectation have changed. The expectation for customers right now has changed over time because they understand what experience should be. And for every time they meet a particular experience, they set it as a standard and they compare that experience as automatically sets that as the benchmark for the experience that I want across all of the brands that I'm dealing with. If there is any shortfall, if there's any gap, for me is that the expectation is not met, and then you see that consumers will not adopt or take the necessary action that you want them to take.
Yes. And that's actually true. It's more like a human behavior psychology thing. There's this favorite app of mine, which is Flutterwave, because we use them for our transactions on Yournotify. And whenever I try to log in, they send like 3 notifications to 3 different channels. So I get a copy on my email, I get a copy on WhatsApp, I get a copy on SMS. And for me, because I know that behavior, just like you said, so I am now expecting which one comes first. So whichever one comes first is the one I pick the code and continue the process. So it has built my mindset on, okay, I know at least I will get it from one of these channels. The challenge is now, well, for, again, like I mentioned, small businesses, how many of these channels can they possibly integrate, or can they possibly be paying for? That's probably the reason for my next question, which is email marketing still growing, or are marketers relying too much on WhatsApp? I mean, people have this, well, I wouldn't say an assumption, but the idea that, well, WhatsApp is the major, and email is just there. Why should they even prioritize it? SMS, okay, it's still an advantage, but WhatsApp is the thing. So my question is, what do you think of email? Is there still a market, and is it still growing? And again, how do you, your team at Wema Bank, how do you prioritize email compared to other channels?
So your question is email marketing still relevant, right?
Pretty
Is
much,
it
yes.
still
Yes.
growing, or what? Are
Yes.
people still adopting? Is that what you're
Correct.
And I don't think that it's a what you call it? It's email marketing versus WhatsApp. I don't, and I will try to break it down here, because my understanding of this platforms is that the why what people use them for, and owners. Now I'm speaking from a customer, a consumer perspective.
Okay.
Just imagine you as a consumer, as a customer, where you receive receipts for a particular transaction that you've made, where you receive your flight ticket, where you receive your new onboarding email for joining or for opening an account, right? Where you receive your insurance document. What would typically happen is, you are in your mind, you automatically know that emails like that, you should find it, communication like that, you should find it in your email.
Okay.
I don't know if you get what I'm saying. So
I do. Based on the
example.
context. Yeah.
No, let me go back again. So it's not a so it's not a email versus WhatsApp thing. It's that from a consumer perspective, a customer perspective, brand owners need to understand what these consumers understand by this platform, and the type of communication that they expect to find in those platforms. Right. Give an example. So when you are trying to make your, your business transaction, and you need OTP, the first place that comes to your mind is SMS. You know that it should come to you because it's fast, is easy. While you're on that platform, you don't have to log in. It will just pop in on your page, on your phone, and you're able to quickly pick that four numbers or 6 numbers, and you impute it. That's your you are making some insurance conversation, and you need to get your insurance document. You automatically will expect that the insurance document will be sent to you via email, because you know what, you can make reference to it even after the conversation. You are opening a new account, and you get your welcome email that gives you end-to-end detail of what this account is supposed to do for you, what you will get from the account, blah 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 blah. What happens? So it is we understanding the why behind some of these platforms, and what customers need from those platforms. WhatsApp is built for that immediate, it's built for quick one, it's built that interaction, it's built for the immediate engagement, it's built for conversation to back, and then we close it, and that's it. Email is built for make reference to. So when you want to communicate to your customers, and you know that this conversation, this communication is something that it can make reference to. I want to invite you for my event, for instance, and it has the access code, it has the information on how to navigate, it has the information on to come for your event. What I would typically do is just search my email to find Yournotify has sent me an email about this event, and I would see everything. Imagine if it is just a WhatsApp conversation. You know what will happen? The day I need it, I probably will be checking through different engagements that we've had, different conversations that we've had.
to be able to catch up that. So if I understand the why, if I understand the mentality about consumer, what we want, we would understand that there are platforms that you can use based on their interest and based on what they want. You find information that is speaking to, for instance, how you can use something for it another 6 months, another 3 months, and another 2 months. And you find people document that via email because they know that on the day I need this thing, I can go to my email and I just search Wema Bank. I search Mabel Adeteye, and I find that there compared to WhatsApp conversation. If the conversation is immediate, if the conversation is where I need to have interaction with you and I need to tell you that Mabel Adeteye, as I've emailed you your account opening form, I've emailed you everything about your onboarding document, welcoming you as a customer. However, please reach out to me on this platform if you need further engagement and questions to ask. Do you understand? So when I go to the email, I know that every information that I need, I find it there. But again, if I now need to ask further questions, I can find you on WhatsApp. I don't think WhatsApp is the first engagement to do that because, again, the why behind all of these things, we need to understand it. Customer engagement right now is becoming less just about using multiple channels together. We need to understand the understanding from a customer on what we typically would use what platform for. And again, what helps to strengthen the conversation. If it is WhatsApp, for instance, and I've communicated to you, onboarding you as a new customer, I've communicated to you your flight ticket, I've communicated to you your I mean, those two, that's what coming to my head now. Yes. And I want to tell you that, if you need more information, WhatsApp me on XYZ number, or I can take the conversation further to WhatsApp to say that, right now you are preparing for, okay, let me give an example. You buy air ticket and airlines will ask you to input your phone numbers because they want to communicate with you if flight changes, right? They want to communicate with you while you are at the airport because they know that communication is immediate. I think we can look at it from immediacy and permanent, right? And permanent, where for immediate conversation, I can do that on WhatsApp. I have given you your flight ticket, I've given you your onboarding document via email, but I need to be able to engage with you immediately if something changes. I get that engagement on WhatsApp. Mabel Adeteye, your flight has been moved from 10 a.m. to 12 o'clock. I'm not going to be expecting that in my email. I will expect that because I'm already prepared that my flight is XYZ time, is XYZ date, is this and that. And then, to do that. So it's not that is email still growing, or are marketers using more of WhatsApp, or are they using more of it? It is that those two platforms, they are still available for use based on the type of message and where you are in the journey of your engagement with your customer. So I've used about 2 to 3 cases to explain that. Yes. If we understand where we are in our engagement journey with our customers, if we understand typically what their mindset is with this platform, it will guide us on how to use them, when to use email because of the type of communication you want to engage them with. It will also help guide you on where to take the conversation further to WhatsApp because you need immediate interaction. You need one-on-one engagement. You need that personal touch to it. But if I have to go back and look for information and make reference to it, then you will do email.
This is fantastic. A very, very detailed response. And in fact, I think you even answered maybe the second, third question from this. So one thing I think I want to see if we can clarify something here, which is, so you mentioned consumer expectation, and there is a part of the brand or the business responsibility to know where to direct a message to at a point in time. Now, when a brand is trying to, should I say, send that communication, is there a way, or are they responsible to give clarity to the customer at that point in time on where that communication is going to be passed to, so that way the customer knows where to check or where to go for referencing? like you mentioned, or they should expect, I mean, similar to something you said around expectation of the consumer, where they know, well, I will check my WhatsApp if it's this, I will check my email if it's a ticketing, because I know I can see the history of the or attachment, for instance. So is the brand responsible for communicating that in advance, or they should somehow rely on, should I say, a consumer behavior to know where to push the appropriate message to?
So no, I think so when we start with even you understanding and put yourself, when you want to send email, when you want to engage on WhatsApp, when you want to communicate with customers, try to put yourself, take your brand off your head and just say, I am the customer. What typically would I expect? What should I expect? I expect that the first information, the engagement you're going to give me, because assume that I know so much, that this is my first engagement with you, you need to communicate with clarity. You need to let me know that this is who I am, this is what you've requested for, and this that you have requested for is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. For number 1, this is it. For number 2, this is that. However, if you need further information, what should happen? And you see that right now, sometimes when even customers, they call customer care. We've memorized what the engagement numbers are to say. For information on this, press 0. For information on that, press 2. For information on this, because I'm guiding you end to end. I think one of the things that we need to understand with customer or consumer engagement is guiding and providing that clarity when we communicate with them. I don't think that we need to wait till the end when I have read all the communication and then you tell me that this is the action I need to take. If the conversation is telling me, welcome on board for opening your account, for this, that, then that should be stated. You know, the way you have like a flow of communication, you understand the way the mindset of the consumer is reading your email, and you provide that clarity end to end. I do not think that we should wait till when customers are now asking us that, where can I find the information? A lot of times, again, you see that organizations would even do some FAQs to say that because we understand that you're a new customer, because we understand that you have just and will provide more information that would guide you in your onboarding journey. Do XYZ, reach out this way. If your conversation is on loans and so, do this. If your conversation is this and this, do that. What happens is your understanding of the fact that these guys are new, they're just joining you. It guides you on how to provide the information to them even before they ask. More and do a bit of research about the clarity that you've provided for them.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that clarity. All right, so now we move on to AI. This is the most trending conversation, or should I say topic, over the years now. And to be honest, even me, because I'm a technical person slash marketing professional, I have, should I say, outsourced 40% of my task to AI, and it is working fantastically well. So back in the days where I'm always, I don't know, skeptical around new technology, this kind of thing, I'm happy to say allow. On my Mac Pro now, anything around ChatGPT wants to access I just say allow, just do anything you want to do. So I want to get, for you to share insights on how AI is changing customer engagement across messaging channels. There are a couple of things we can look into, things like a workflow. So someone says, hello, I would like to make inquiry about your product. You can set up an automated flow that responds to those kind of inquiry. That's one angle. You can look into, creating a voice messaging that AI transcribes and does everything for you, that passes to the customer. And then, like you said earlier, Press 1, it takes the next action. Press 2, it takes the next action. There are a whole lot of possibility on what AI can do. So what is your take on how AI is changing customer engagement across all messaging, right? This can be WhatsApp, this can be email, this can be SMS. What's your take on that?
So while you were asking me, I was just jotting down something because I didn't want to forget.
Sure.
And AI is changing how we quickly communicate. Okay. It is not changing how well we communicate. So there are two different things. How we quickly, because there are options, because there are different things that you can communicate. But AI will never take that judgment of how well we communicate. Today, almost all organizations can generate email. Almost organizations can personalize. We can have WhatsApp automated SMS. We can do communication in seconds. We can churn out content. We can recently I wrote about see what AI is asking us in terms of judgment. So we can communicate in bulk. We can be quick with our communication, but not to impact how well we communicate. What remain uncommon is the judgment behind the way we communicate to our customers. One thing I often say to conversations is that AI has actually helped us solve content generation. It has helped us solve the number of content that we can push out there. It has not solved the communication need, which is the effective communication. Because it's not that I just you want me to send you an email and I send you the email. What we have been talking about is effective communication. Because does it help me achieve my objective? That is when it becomes effective. Does it help me? Does it help me move my customers, my consumers to take action? Communication is still about understanding the people. So in that understanding, ask yourself, how well does AI or can AI understand Mabel? How well do you think AI will understand me? If AI is not in my head, if AI is living with me every day end to end, it means that there is still going to always be that human touch. There is going to be that human touch. And if you fail to impute that in your conversation, in your email marketing, in your SMS, in your WhatsApp conversation, you have missed it. You know, the way where, and sometimes when I see some communication these days and I see that brands take WhatsApp communication and they automate the engagement end to end, I ask myself, see that we don't understand the reason behind WhatsApp engagement in the first place, because WhatsApp is more personal. It's more, you know, the days where we used to use BlackBerry, where you ping, I can't remember what we call it, is it ping me or something? Then there's that connection, and that is WhatsApp. Because for you to be able to even engage me on WhatsApp, it means that to some level you and I have connected. And then you understand two things about me. And the more we engage, the better it is that you understand me. I think again that brand owners, individuals, we're not giving room for that AI learning, AI to learn end to end. And I'll give an example. So you pick up AI tool today and you ask AI to summarize you. First, this is the first day you are using the AI. Right? So a platform will automatically give you that you will trust end to end. Because what have you been able to feed the platform? How have you engaged the platform over time? Remember again that the technology we're speaking to is also based on what people feed the technology. There is no technology that doesn't have human elements in it. There's no technology that doesn't require some prompts, that doesn't require some understanding with the way we've asked it to work. So if there is a gap in between that place that we have asked the platform,
what will happen is the output that you get at the end of the day will be something that doesn't reflect the true picture. So you still need that human understanding, that human engagement to be able to decide, to be able to say that what I am seeing here, with my understanding of what I have seen about Mabel, what I know about Mabel, the conversation we had yesterday, is it a true reflection of who she is? Is it a true reflection of how she would want me to communicate with her? If you fail to do that, what will happen is, and consumers right now, because we have access to these tools, because we know, and I've been saying something recently that one of the issues that we are having now is trust issue. And we used to have that before, but it's now very, very, very is huge now, because people are wondering that, I don't know, is it not the same thing that I read on your platform yesterday that I'm reading today? Are you telling me that all the while that I've been communicating with you, you didn't understand what I was saying? And I'll give a typical example. Somebody just bought airtime on your platform now, and the airtime didn't go through because you automated that. A customer has done 2 or 3 transactions, or has clicked this. This is the next percent to the person. The airtime of the transaction didn't go. This is how you should treat it. What will happen is, either I tried purchasing airtime on your platform yesterday and the airtime didn't go through. The next thing you're sending me to come and purchase another thing. Imagine that, because it is automated. But if there is that human touch where you are accessing, you're reviewing the experience per customer, what will happen is, you know at what point that automation shouldn't go to that person. I think it is very important, again, that we are practical with our use of artificial intelligence. We are practical end to end, and the uniqueness of each of our customers to determine how we should communicate with them. At what point should I impute AI? At what point should I even wait for the understanding of truly what Mabel would want? Or at what point do I need to, do I give that learning where I typically can say that Mabel has constantly purchased XYZ. This is the next thing that I should move her to. I experienced it fantastic, and I know that if I constantly push this message to her, she would take action. I think, again, that the way we use AI, from what I have seen, there's a lot of generalization. AI also still require you to do your own work. If you're not ready to do your own work, you are not the best person to use AI. You must be ready and be willing, right, to sit down and dissect and break down understanding of customer to suit each of their lifestyle. My experience with your brand is different from another person. If you're not able to define that across the kind of scenarios that you've seen, the AI usage is a flop. And I see that being repeated every time, because we know that AI allows you to say, welcome to my page. My page does so and so. I sell air, I sell goods, I sell this. And every time, that is the first message. If I have been checking your page over time, and the first time I come to your page, the first thing I'm asking you is, how much is this product? I don't think the first conversation I want you to tell me is that I sell hair, I sell shoe. I have asked you a direct question. But if your automation to that AI is that for every time a new customer comes on my platform, you should put this to them, you have missed it. Because I came to you, I asked the specific question. I said that, how much do you sell this particular product? I think the direct conversation is to go into that, because again, you don't know the number of mails that I have. You don't know the number of ones that are in my face trying to sell to me at that particular time. And I see these things being repeated over and over and over again. It is very important that these things, we put it into when we are determining, when we are adopting, when we are thinking through how to use AI to generate our communication messaging. It must actually connect. We've gone past, it's been a while that we've been talking about AI. There's been a lot of conversation on personalization. Personalization that we see right now is still the personalization that we put in based on our AI understanding. The personalization, if you look at it, we've gone past the age of, and I'm sure you will agree with me that before now, the most interesting personalization is that all the dear Mabel, we've gone past that. The dear Mabel, we know, I know you know my name, no problem. But You know my name. How do you engage me? So you see that the AI gives the personalization because it says Mabel, it says dear Mabel, you've been transacting with us. I think sincerely, we need that human element. We need to ensure that we put in that same work that allows us to be able to make the right judgment, to impute at what point do I need to engage this person? What use this person? When should I engage? What personalization should I put into it when I'm engaging? When we do that, it will help you. The future won't belong to organizations that use the most AI. It will not belong to them at all. It will be for those who combine AI with human element, understanding their consumer, understanding their journey, understanding their experience, and combine these things together when they are using the AI to engage them.
In fact, this is interesting, and thank you. I mean, you can see all the claps coming in from the screen. So thank you for this breakdown. You've actually even touched on this next question, which I had around building automated customer journey. And you pointed out the fact that it is really about a mix of human elements. So not just relying on AI to just do everything. So even if you're going to set up any form of automation, you need to be involved. So not everything is there, not everything is hello, and not everything is the same thing for every customer. You must always find a balance. So thanks for that intake. You also made a mention of personalization, which is good because that's actually my next question. So let me go by. My birthday was 5 days ago, and all the banking apps that I have my registration on, they all say happy birthday. I really have nothing against this. I'm actually happy. I go from UBA. I think I go from Wema because we wanted to do one integration one time. I go from 9P. I go from everybody. Fantastic. Now, my ultimate question is, I mean, it's necessary that you want to personalize a message. An example is happy birthday. So you want to be able to say your birthday is on and then personalize it so it feels natural. But how much of data do you now need to collect? Not necessarily for happy birthday alone, but for other use cases. So you haven't transacted in the last 12 months or 6 months. What happened? We can help you look into your transaction. If it is you are having challenges or financial challenges, maybe we can offer you a loan, but you need to be able to study or collect some of those data for you to be able to make informed decision. So what type of data or how intense of the data you need to, or businesses need to leverage on to be able to personalize the experience of their customers?
Personalization. So we have access to data. Just in this conversation today now, where from what I've shared, if you're good with data gathering, you'll be able to pick one or two things around blah 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 blah. So we have access to data. I don't think we are in the age where data is becoming an issue. There's everywhere. You see platforms now asking you, do you want this? Do you want app to track your activities on other apps or on other platforms? So there is access to data depending on what consumer or customers actually select. I think the question should be that even with this data, do we understand how to use them and how to integrate them? The fact that you know me, Mabel Adeteye, is not a see that I know how to engage me. The fact that you know me, Mabel Adeteye, does not mean that when I receive some engagement from you, I can trust your engagement, right? Because again, that personalization sometimes would seem
for a lack of a better word, fake, would lack trust, would lack understanding, would lack your understanding of where I am in my journey. So you know me because you saw me in Ikeja yesterday, today, tomorrow. Automatically, you feel that I'm always at Ikeja at 6 p.m. every day. What if in the space of 1 month, my routine changed because of some work activities, right? It means that you have to take that understanding a step further to know why am I in Ikeja at 6 p.m. every day. You know that it's different from you knowing that I am always at Ikeja at 6 p.m. every day. Yes, they are both you knowing me, but if you fail to proceed further to the next step where you're asking or you're digging deeper to why is Mabel always at Ikeja at 6 p.m. every day, right? That's number two. If you take that too and you begin to work on it in terms of the engagement, again, you would ask if the conversation would require you again to know, okay, is this a normal routine for her? Why she's at Ikeja at 6 p.m. every day is just for a short period. When she's done with this project, it means that she will go back to her normal routine of coming to Ikeja at 8 p.m. If you don't drill down this end to end, what will happen is that personalization of saying that I'm always at Ikeja at 6 p.m. I come to Ikeja at 6 p.m. because I'm running a project, on and on and on for 6 months, whereas that communication should be for 2 months. So in personalization is that it is very, very important that we understand the personalization based on where the customer is in their journey. Context to the way we personalize our messaging, context to the way we personalize our communication, context to the way we personalize based on our understanding of who these customers are. Remember that the constant thing in life is change. The data that you collected yesterday is not the data that you should continue to use for another 6 months for a particular customer, because what? Understand, you need to be able to add one, two, remove. And there are some times that, again, the data that you have about me that you have been using to personalize the engagement with me is outdated. Or maybe there is one shift in one of the data that you have that require you to personalize. You're personalizing to somebody who has been your customer, for instance, maybe in the last 10 years, in the last 15 years, and the person is maybe was 20 years old during that time. And typically in our mind, we'll say that maybe women should have gotten married at 30 years or 31. And automatically, where after 31 or after 30, you are asking, are you married now? So imagine if that customer is in a journey where they've been marrying or getting married, and the person receives email like that from you, automatically you are out of one of the
unsubscribe.
Yes. Look at the life of the person. Has it changed? What is the person buying now? Maybe the person is now buying diapers. He's now buying more of the kind of dresses that the person is buying. It's data like that gives you that guides you on how best to communicate instead of asking that question that way. So when you talk about personalization, I don't think the issue is not having access to data, is knowing when to use the data that we have available to us, so that when we're personalizing to fit the context at the present moment, and we're personalizing based on our understanding of where the customer is in their journey. Again, that when we personalize, there is a need for us to connect. Personalization isn't the same thing as connecting with your customer. You can personalize your communication to me and I still cannot connect with you at all, because you know what, the language that you have used to communicate with me, the pace at which you're using to communicate with me doesn't speak to my lifestyle, doesn't speak with me, doesn't speak to me, and that is what connection. Personalize, because I've had conversations where we talk about AI. It has helped us a lot to personalize. It has helped us a lot to gather data. But again, I said something earlier that trust is now becoming an issue. When trust is becoming an issue, it means that people are not able to connect with you. They don't see the sincerity of purpose in what you're communicating with them. They don't see the genuineness in what you're communicating, because I just feel that when I say, dear Mabel, I've personalized it, When I said, Mabel, I know you were at Ikeja yesterday. It goes beyond that. We must constantly look at each of the words that we use to craft the message to that particular customer. Does it personalize it to them? Yes. Beyond personalization, will she connect with it? Because you know what? It fits into where she is in her journey. If we fail to do that, then we have missed the overall goal of the engagement.
Okay, so now that you said, so knowing the fact that you need to be able to capture the particular moment of that customer. So is it okay to now say, collect all the possible data that you can collect from your customers? So at the time of you probably sending out a campaign or trying to send them a message, you can look into those data and try to segment or personalize it in a way that captures that moment you're talking about. So what I'm trying to get out of this is, there's so much of data about a particular user, right? They can be phone number, they can be, they went to a place, they registered for an account, they open an account, they transact, a whole lot. So should businesses just leverage on collecting all this data? When you need them, you go into it and do what you want as in form of personalization. Or there's a certain amount of data you shouldn't just be collecting. Probably it's unnecessary, probably it will save you cost. I mean, there can be a couple of use cases or reasons, but should we collect everything or not collect everything?
I think it's not a cast in stone. Collect the data that you are able to collect, but there is a need for revalidation when you collect data. I think I tried to mention it earlier. So collect data. Whatever data is available, collect it. Customers are not going to reward brands because they know more about them. They're going to reward brands who are able to use the data that they have about them responsibly. They are not going to reward you. They're not going to connect with you because you know more about them. They are going to connect with you because you are able to use the knowing more about them to connect with them responsibly. And because you are able to validate the data. And in validating, that is where the human judgment is. So you have data today, you've collected data, 50 buckets of data about who I am, what I have done in the past, what I'm currently doing, my gender, my age, my interest, my lifestyle, the fun moments. You've collected all the data that you can. Today, in another 6 months, how are you able to validate that that data is still useful? How are you able to? There are some data that you can track. So for instance, my age, if I say my age is 20 today, and you are going to be communicating to me tomorrow and next year, and it requires you to communicate based on my age bracket, that one automatically, you know what it is, right? If my interest today, right, is riding bicycle, what if tomorrow I don't want to be riding bicycle again? Maybe because I had one experience about bicycle that you're not even aware of. And I just say, or doctor says, don't ride bicycle again. Right. What happens is you're going to be communicating with me over and over again on bicycle. I think to break it down is to understand the kind of data that doesn't change and the kind of data that we need to revalidate. A lot of times, and this is where it's taking me to proper segmentation in data gathering, where I know the data that automatically, if I know A today, I can use the A for another 6 months, another 1 year, another 5 years. That is if I have been able to capture it well. And I should be able to put some of my other data in another bucket of segmentation that I know I need to constantly validate. I should have another segmentation that gives me an idea to say, if data A changes, it means that data B would be impacted. If, for instance, I say that I live in Ibadan, right, and I'm launching a campaign in Ibadan, and I take it to Ibadan, right? The first one, maybe I didn't attend. Second one, maybe I didn't attend. I think it's important for you to ask me, do I still reside in him? I mean, I'm not the way I'm saying it should. I mean, not writing it that way. It's for you to revalidate that. Am I still in Ibadan? And I come back to say, I'm no longer in Ibadan. Go back into your data. If the lifestyle of Ibadan is that we wake up at 7 o'clock, or no, we wake up at 10 o'clock, it means that coming to Lagos, we wake up like 5 o'clock. What time do I need to communicate? If I say that I live in the north, where we do more of radio, right? And that is what you've been using to communicate with me. If you find out now that work, I've now moved to Lagos, where digital is the fastest way to get a lot of communication conversation, then it means you need to change some of the engagement channels that you use. I think that proper segmentation in data gathering is what I would recommend, to say that there are some data that you know doesn't change based on the fact that if you have captured it well, you know how to, like that's sacrosanct, is clear. There are some data that you should know that if this changes, automatically 3 to 5 of the data that you have within. I think, to be honest, is us not being practical with our data gathering, us not going back to say, even reviewing the 20 data that you have. And I hope that maybe in this whole conversation of AI, maybe we'll also have another platform, another AI tool that helps to properly dissect this data that we have. That gives us an understanding to say 5 data has been collected, 20 data has been collected. This is fixed. This is not fixed. Because this person moved this needle from A to B, automatically you need to ask for more. So that by the time you are also engaging, the kind of communication that you send them gives you a way to gather the understanding of the data that you're trying to revalidate from the customer. If you fail to do that, you pack data to say, every time I must come back to collect 100 data from this person. And the person is wondering, you've collected 100 data from my hand yesterday. Why are you coming back to ask me this data? This data, is my age going to change every year? Is my birthday month going to change every year? Is my height going to change? Things like that. I think, again, that sometimes we also don't even know how to interpret some of the action that people take to interpret it into the data that we see, right? And sometimes, again, when we interpret the data that we see, we also struggle with the should I say the genuineness of that. Remember when I was saying earlier to say that put yourself in this customer's shoes.
That's true.
The fact that I'm somewhere every day doesn't mean that I live there. Doesn't mean there should be other 1 or 2 or 3 validation that guides you to say that I live there. Is it because every time I wake up in that location, every evening I click, when I click my messaging is from that location? Do you understand? And then it can guide you on a better way to interpret. The fact that you came to a university today and you found and I opened your account in that university doesn't automatically mean that I'm a student of that university, or that I'm a non-teaching staff of that university, or that I am. You don't know why I'm there. Maybe I'm there to see my daughter, to see my son, to see my sister, to see. You don't have an idea. If you're not able to capture it that way, if you're not able to take a follow-up messaging to me to ask specific questions, or to even throw some conversation to say, would you want to meet us somewhere in Ibadan if you're going to be in Ibadan tomorrow? If you're not able to do that, what will happen is automatically all the data that I picked from University of Lagos is either their non-teaching staff, or their lecturers, or their students. You pack it that way. Every time the communication you'll be sending to me will be communication on school, on books, and then you miss the purpose.
Love it. 2 things you should really think about when you are collecting this data. And I love the point of revalidation of data. So I think it really just boils down to, at least from my own experience, the amount of work you need to put into those processes, especially when you're a small business. And to be frank, it's not easy, because of course there's a team of data intelligence. You can't say someone who is just a content marketer or someone that sends an email out to start doing this robust segmentation. But thank you for actually sharing that thought. I really appreciate it. One thing I would like us to still discuss about is measuring success. So this measuring success is one of the biggest topics around, basically, when it comes to budgeting or planning a marketing campaign. So you're spending this amount. What am I getting? What am I getting? I hear it almost every day. What am I getting? So a quick context. So we have this customer. They're actually Toyota, CFAO. And they started utilizing our WhatsApp campaign. So WhatsApp is quite expensive, unlike SMS. But one thing for them was when they started sending out the WhatsApp campaign, people were actually responding and making inquiries. Now, for a brand like, let's say, Toyota, I mean, what's the marketing budget? What's the potential conversion? They only need to probably sell 2 BYDs because they are the one responsible for BYD cars in Nigeria. So they only need to sell 1 or 2 BYD and they've gotten the conversion back. So because of the multiplier, right? 1 BYD is probably 50 million, thereabout. So you can clearly see that success from that angle. But we do also have certain type of customers, or at least I've worked with in the past, where they have been sending out email, and their whole imagination about sending email campaign is that it should auto lead to people purchasing an item. They really don't see it as I am engaging, building trust, building loyalty. It is I have sent a campaign. What is it giving me back? So from your experience, what are the things to measure as a form of success? Should it be email campaign? Should it be SMS? Should it be WhatsApp? And how do you measure these things?
So you're asking a comms person, right? And again, because we see, this conversation we hear it every day. How do I measure the marketing spend? How do I measure it vis-a-vis the sales? How do I measure it vis-a-vis what I record in my books? So I think we need to look at it from communication activity to the impact that our messaging, our communication to customers, what is the impact of the business? We've gone past the age where, and sometimes when I see people still review email messaging, they measure email messaging through just click rates, and I'm like, okay, click rates. So email drops on my phone, and open rates. Email drops on my phone, and maybe I was on my email that time that it dropped. The fact that I just clicked to say, what email is this? Did you think that I read the email? We've gone past that age. I think it's very important for us to now begin to look at impact that helps us to review that guides us on how this communication would impact the overall objective. Just to give an example, so you send me so you're running a campaign, and the campaign is to get people to be aware of a particular product that just came into the market, or a new offering, or a new promo, or whatever it is. That's the communication that that's the objective of the communication. What you should be looking at is, are people now making inquiries beyond the click? You said you want to measure awareness. I want to measure how aware people are with this particular product. Are people making inquiries? If after I sent out that email communication, WhatsApp communication, social media communication, and people started calling, I think click rates will not give you that. Is that your customer service people have started receiving calls to ask that, oh, can we know about this new promo that you launched into the market? Oh, we need clarity on, is it a 10% or a 20%? That gives you, these are the kind of things that you need to ask. It means that beyond you asking me to open my dashboard where you check the click rate, you're asking the customer service people. The 20 people call yesterday, how many people used to call before? Or maybe people don't even call about the product at all, and now they've started calling. That gives you an understanding that, oh, communication is working well. If, for instance, people used to complain about, we don't understand this product, we don't understand that product, and every day, every week, your customer service inbox is always full of a particular product, so and so, and maybe you launch an educational campaign, a 6 weeks, a 2 weeks, a 3 weeks educational campaign, and all of a sudden you've seen that, oh, there is a decline in the number of conversation that you get about this particular product. It means that now there is clarity. also it's very important that we look at measurement beyond the typical thing that you see around clicks, around open rate, around there's also another one where you look at the number of times that people actually spend reading that message. I think the moment we begin to look beyond that, we are able to measure effectively what our communication is driving for us. Is our communication driving the objective that we want them to drive? Because we've identified what are the things that I hope this communication will help me achieve. Yes, if I have been able to document that, oh, I want a reduction in people asking me the same question over and over again to say, is this product still available in the market? Can I find this product in Bodija market? How many stores can I find this product? And we launch an email marketing campaign on that. If you see a reduction in the kind of inquiries that comes from that angle, I believe that your email marketing has been successful. Again, that that there are sometimes again that you do email marketing because I have opened it and I understand it. I proceed to do some one-on-one conversation with people in my bucket, in my community, and not necessarily that they are opening your email, right? So it's very important that we're able to drill down what exactly do we want to achieve with this beyond just the open rate, beyond the click rate. If you do that, you are going to be able to determine the impact of the business. Did it strengthen the understanding of the product? Did it help people to ask better questions? Did it help people to understand the kind of product that is available? Did it help people to understand how much I actually sell this? Do you understand? And it helps you to be able to measure correctly. Even also gives you better insight when you are driving other campaigns that you're driving. Do you understand? Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mabel. Quite insightful. So I know we said for one, so I'll try to keep to one and give the floor to maybe one or two questions, and then we call it a day. Does anyone have a question? I think there's an hand feature, so just maybe raise your hand. I'll let you speak and ask your question before we close it for today. Any question? Any question for Mabel? Okay, so we have a question from Charles. So Charles, you can unmute and ask your question, please.
Good afternoon, Madam Mrs. Mabel. Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for everything. Even though I joined a bit late, but I was able to learn something so far. At least the parts that you mentioned, when you're collecting, whether you're collecting data, you should make sure you try to validate those data. That's so insightful. But however, my question is, how can we? Maybe I didn't get that part. If you mentioned it, so apologies for that. I don't know what are the ways, like step by step, we can use to revalidate this data, because it's not in businesses, they're just after. And you also mentioned about we should go beyond clicks, open rates, and all that as part of measurement. So, what are the steps? What are the things we can do so that, because where we work, they just want it to be that, oh, people are opening it, they are clicking on it when we are sending our reports. But and even though it is not really converting to the sales, but we sharing those reports and all that, yes, it's giving us that, oh, we are doing our work. Because if you go back to tell them that, okay, how is sales, like, is this thing really generating sales and all that? Because we may not be able to even give clear data of how the sales, how all the things we're using so far is converting to sales. I don't know if you understand my point so far, because internally it's always having an issue. When you tell them, okay, let us do this like this, let us do this like this, it tends to be like, oh, you're wasting time. I need this to be pushed out. I don't know, to be honest, it's kind of frustrating, because as you've broken it down, it's actually how I think. But where you work, because I believe that, okay, how is this thing happening? I believe that even when you're pushing all these materials, when you're doing campaigns, I believe internally, people in those organizations that we're pushing those campaigns for, they need to be up and doing. They need to understand some things. They need to know how to even relate with their customers. Because that's another challenge that we will have. When you send leads to them, how are they following up with that lead? How are they communicating with that? How are they engaging with that leads? But they just feel that, oh, they will do it. Let us be getting the lead and just be adding to what we have. They will just push, and it doesn't help that way. I mean,
thank you, Charles. Thank you, Charles. Mabel, you're mute.
I didn't know that. Yes, I didn't know that I was muted. And I can feel your frustration. I can. So when you asked me that question, remember that I was laughing and I said something that asking a comms person. So because I understand what you're struggling with, and you can ask any comms person. We've been there. We experience it. We are still experiencing it. But my first feedback to you would be you need to understand that sometimes people don't see the kind of they don't understand the impact of our work to how it helps to strengthen their objective. I take my time to educate people to let them know that your success is my success. I want to be able to talk that we launched a campaign, we're driving something, and then we're seeing results. If I don't see your success as my success, I just communicate and then we move on. I understand that if you are able to achieve your objective, it's something that I am also proud of, because my communication is somewhere in the journey that helps people to take the action that you want them to take. So you need to first be able to get some level of understanding in that space. And I'm not saying that 100% people will understand, but bit by bit, people will see the impact. Like, let me just even give you a very true life experience of, and this happened to me. So there was a time in my journey that, and if you know me very well, putting all my energy into the things that I do, collaborate. Let's do this thing. We are in it together. It must work well, blah, blah, blah. Even the one that really, I must have done my work and then just move on. But I would journey with you end to end. And somebody came to me when we're reporting some data and I couldn't find my impact. I couldn't find the kind of work that we did in that explanation, in that journey. And after the meeting, I called the person and I said, I'm surprised though that our name isn't even mentioned in this whole conversation, in this review, in this, you didn't see anything. And the person just, didn't really acknowledge. And I kept reminding the person, I remember that this, remember when we were reviewing together, remember when we're talking about how to tweak this, how to tweak that, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so we're going to start another campaign. And the person came and said that we should. I said, why? Why do you want us to work? We don't need to do anything, because either we work or we don't work. You will see your number. And the person said, no. I said, no. No. If you reported your number and you couldn't find us there, if I don't do anything now, it's not going to impact anything. Jokingly, I was able to reiterate to the person to say that you can't be coming to me now because you know that if I fail to communicate, if I fail to do XYZ, if I don't do this well, it will impact your business. If you know that if I don't do this thing, it will impact your business, why is it that when you are reporting your success, you don't report that this particular department, this particular unit, this particular area of business has supported you to achieve your number? So you know that people sometimes they see the kind of work that we do from only when it is not working well, right? So we need comms, we need messaging, we need WhatsApp conversation. The moment it's working well, they move on. It's just the normal thing. So, but you need to constantly reiterate that. You need to constantly educate people. You need to constantly also show people the power of communication. You launch a product into the market, nobody's aware of it. I didn't do any experiential activation, and all of a sudden people started remembering it. They started talking about it. Tell me how my campaign hasn't achieved your objective. And I'm not saying that immediately people will begin to buy, but there are metrics that you need to be able to check. If, for instance, and again, I also would need to tell you that you also must be able to gather data before you start your campaign. Yeah. I do that. Yes, I do that a lot.
And I reiterate this a lot to say, what is the benchmark? These metrics that we're trying to chase, we're trying to chase 20 metrics, 5 metrics, 3 metrics. Where are we presently? So that every time I'm reviewing vis-a-vis what I am doing. Again, that my tactics also, what I'm coming up with is to guide and ensure that we are able to use our communication activities, our emails, our platform to achieve those areas that we've identified. And in our journey, we are going to be reviewing it to say, I did 3 things, I did 5 things, because I did them because I wanted this needle to move. As it moved, that means I have to go back to review. If you fail to gather data, to understand where you are, what are the things that typically would impact the campaign being successful? If you don't gather that data, you are not going to be able to justify your work at the end of the day. I've run campaigns where some of the examples that I mentioned, for instance, to say, are people calling to ask for, even recently, I ran a campaign and we're talking about, before we finished the campaign, people were reaching out to ask for more information about the campaign. And I said that, oh, how did they know about it? It's obvious that it was because they were following the conversation. So you must be able to gather some of the things that helps you to really show proof what you have done. If you don't gather that before you start your campaign, you will struggle to get people to understand you and the impact that you bring to the table. Lastly, for me, again, is as marketers, as comms professional, we also need to see our work beyond just the vanity metrics. The vanity metrics, when I was talking about the clicks, fantastic. It is very good because it helps us to also measure from our own end to say, is that our messaging working right? Are we eating the numbers? Yes. But beyond that, again, the desired action that the business wants people to take, are they taking those things? If we're not able to see our work beyond that awareness, beyond just people clicking, it will be tough for you to really sell yourself or show the impact that you bring to the table to the management. So the first is that being able to have that engagement, educating your stakeholders, educating the people that you work for, where they understand the work that you bring to the table. Let's do this together. Let's work on it together. Once you do that, then the second part is being able to identify the data that you are going to be measuring. Where am I? What is the true picture right now? If I do A, B, C, D, what am I going to be able to tick from these areas in the business? Gather all of that ready before you launch your campaign. And when you launch your campaign, also go beyond just looking at the vanity metrics to say that what are the 2, 3 areas or 4 areas of the business that we are also trying to eat, and how do I ensure that my communication helps me to do that?
Thank you so much, Mabel. Thank you so much for that input. So I think just 1 or 2 points before I open for the next last question is, Charles, I think I know your name, so I think I know who I'm speaking to. I would like to point out that positions now have moved beyond you've done your part, or you've posted for the day, or you've sent that campaign and then call it a day. So that's usually what I say to my team. Don't just do that act and call it a day. You can see, maybe as repeatedly mentioned, things around data gathering and data intelligence. So the data intelligence part is looking at the results or analyzing everything you're doing thoroughly. As simple as, I want to call 5 people this week. You're calling 5 people this week. Understand the flow, the process. Who said no? Who said yes? Why they said no? Why they said yes? You're sending out a campaign. How many people click? Why did they not click? Did you do A/B testing? A whole lot comes into that play. And I think if you have more insight or data into those, should I say, the campaign that you sent, by sharing with the rest of the team, you'll be able to back it up confidently. So I think that's what I would say. Anyone has question? We have 1 more question and we'll call it a day. This is almost 1:30. Any question? Just raise up your hand. 1 more question. 1 more question. Okay, I have 1 more question from someone. Your name is not here, so Matic Africa, maybe you can speak. Unmute yourself, please.
Okay, good afternoon, Miss Mabel. Good afternoon, sir. The question I would love to ask, let me just make it very brief. I experienced something this week, but different customers actually. So I want to see if there's a way I can actually, put it to them in a very flexible way that can make them be able to look at what I am actually bringing to the table for them, and for them to see much benefits, and whereby it's going to actually be a benefit for me too as well, because I'm winning them over. So I would like to ask, there are some clients whereby I reach out to, making my research very well, making them understand the campaigns which I want them to, indulge in. But some actually give me a positive response, and I'd be like, okay, I was hoping like, okay, getting a positive response, I'm actually getting an immediate positive answer, like something should be happening immediately. But in the next few minutes, they just go blank. Some just go quiet, and it's actually I was actually wowed. I should be sincere. I was actually wowed because it seems so so new to me. So I want to ask, what should be done? Like, what can be done in such situations, man? Thank you.
I hope you understand the question.
I didn't get it sincerely. I didn't
Okay.
understand.
From what I grasped, I think it is moving a bit to sales. So something like she's sending out a campaign or sending out a message as a form of a campaign, and then there are cases where she gets instant responses, like a sort of an interest, similar to the one you mentioned around people calling and making an inquiry. But then afterwards, they go off, they go blank. So it's almost off from your responsibility. But if you have any take on it, I'll be happy to.
So I think I have an idea, but again, it's not cast in stone for all the campaigns. One is maybe you're doing B2B, you're doing B2C, the kind of product that you're selling to them, yeah, things like that. But if you have noticed that over time, I think it's very important that your communication should pack your metrics together. So, you can, that sometimes when we launch campaign, we have the awareness phase, we have the engagement phase, we have the conversion phase, depending on your funnel, right? So I think it's very important that you start and you are able to close out immediately, if that is the trend that you're seeing in your campaign. And what that would also guide to do is maybe even do A/B testing. And I think you had mentioned earlier to say, if I know that there is high level 70%, 80% when I launch my first phase of campaign, people are making inquiries, they are taking action in terms of asking, reaching out, getting more clarity. But another 1 or 2 weeks, it goes down. You might need to check, one, should I ensure that the first communication that goes to them is direct to this is what it is, this is the action that I need you to take, and then you seal it. Or again, it might also be that there is also no clarity. I think when you had asked me a question earlier that when you're communicating to customers, is it advisable to impute all of the other channels that you will use to engage them post? So where I see that if I want to buy airtime, this is what I need to do. If I want to get loan, this is what I need to do. Maybe that is also lacking in terms of the communication or the messaging that goes to them. You might need to do a deep dive into because if it is reoccurring, then there is actually something wrong with the messaging. Yes, there's something wrong with the messaging. There's something wrong with maybe the way it's crafted, maybe the funnel that you use, and maybe A/B testing can guide you with a particular bucket of customers, focus group, to see what exactly is wrong here. Because sometimes, again, if we're not able to identify a journey that should be broken into maybe 2, you're extending it into 3. Maybe, for instance, somebody like me, if I want to buy, I want to buy sincerely, and I don't buy just because the awareness is there. I don't. Maybe because of my profession. If awareness is no problem, I don't think that is what drives me to buy. That is me. So if you're communicating with somebody like me, you need to understand that, okay, she just needs the credibility. It means that when you are communicating with me, the first thing you need to show me is the statistics, the numbers, the why I need to buy. I need to buy because this is what it helps to achieve in my goal. This is what it helps to address in what I am looking for. If you don't do that for me, no,
right? So, and there are some people who, I mean, just look at what brands do with new mobile phones coming into the fear of missing out, because again, they have some certain bucket that they want to attract. So the awareness, the conversation on the look, the feel of that platform is what they also use to sell. So you need, again, maybe also dissect the audience that you have. You might be targeting the wrong audience with the wrong message. So if it's somebody like me now, maybe the way you've crafted the message, what you're focusing on as the first thing is not what you're supposed to be focusing on. By the time you see, if it was a practical session now where we are doing like
that's what I wanted to say now. Like, this is practical.
Yeah, I would have asked for use cases of 2, 3, 4, 5 of those campaigns that you've ran, ask further questions on the platform that you use, ask further questions on your target audience. I would ask for that. We would review it end to end. Trust me, we would find the missing gap in that thing.
So are you saying we should consider I mean, Charles has asked something almost practical. She has also asked something almost practical. Maybe it's something we should consider moving forward. We have one last question. Do you have the time to take it, or we call it a day because we are late already?
Just one last one. I think I have to leave here at 1:30.
That is fine. Okay, so camera group, just throw your question. Let's get started.
All right, thank you very much, ma. Sorry I should have asked the question a little bit earlier. So I wanted to ask, for a startup that is about launching and they want to get, let's say, their first paid customer or subscriber, how best would you think they should approach their marketing? And I'm talking cold lead, not warm lead. Like, let's say a friend is trying to support their friend's startup by paying for a subscription. How best do you think they should go about getting their first paid cold lead?
Sorry, you said friend is starting to.
No, like, let's say you're about to start a startup now, yes, and you want to get your first paid subscriber. Let's say it's $20 per month or $10 per month paid subscriber, and you want to get your first paid cold lead. That is, it's not your friend, it's not a warm reach out, it's not your friend trying to support your business or something. What's the best form of marketing? Or how best do you think they should go about getting their first customer?
Maybe everything is practical.
To be honest with you, right? Understand your market. We're in Nigeria, and to be, I don't know if you've heard it. You must have actually heard it, where sometimes you have to do free work to get your market out there. You see, this is Nigeria. And that is why in this market, incentive actually sells. This is why you see people doing a lot of promos, reducing costs, because this is Nigeria. People want to buy, they want to patronize your business because they are seeing use cases, they are seeing referrals, they are seeing people who have tested it, they are seeing that it's discounted rate. So 2 to 3 things, and trust me, to be honest, you might need to still leverage on your friends, your business partners who would buy because of the trust that they have in you, buy because they know what you're capable of doing, buy because they trust the platform that you have curated, buy because they know you. That's why they are buying, right? And they know that, again, what you are doing is right. Compare it to a Mabel who doesn't know you. Compare it to a Mabel who needs to give justification to our stakeholders to say, these guys are not just new in the market. We have brand A, brand B, brand C that have used them, right? And we have the success stories that they have done to be able to patronize them. If you are not able to do that, it will be tough for you to just say, except you are meeting the person that signs the check and says that I know, and even again, the person that is signing the check is signing it because he knows you. He's signing it because he has seen the platform that you have used. So how do you need to first think of, how do I get to provide all the things that this marketers, this brand owners will be asking me for? They want to ask me for use cases. They want to ask me for people who have used it. They want to ask me for how long I have been in business. Again, look at even the kind of in the market, we ask people to volunteer, we ask people to gather experience not because it is paid for, but because before people can hire you, they want to see one or two things that you've contributed to in the market. So if you look at that, you will see that again, it's not because you don't want to get business out of the friend zone that you have. It's just that this market demands that you are able to show proof what you have curated. This market demands that you are able to show people using it. This market demands that you are able to show testimonials. So how do you give me that? If you're able to give me that without not necessarily using friends of the house to buy your products, no problem. Again, that these guys who also wants to use you, they also have people who are competitors in the market that they can put their name behind. So you might need to be able to, I do not think that I do not think that you will be able to get that business end to end to sustain it without being able to show those things. Show those things either through discounted, just for free. Why do people do free trials? They do free trials because I want you to show that this thing will work well before you put your money behind it. Do you understand? So that's really it.
And that's a fantastic input, because I keep telling people, for instance, we are in B2B and LinkedIn is one major, I mean, Toyota got us from B2B, from LinkedIn. So I can say it here openly. So Toyota got us from LinkedIn. What's the name? 9PSB Bank got us from LinkedIn, because when people sign up, we have this, where did you find us from? So we can track those things. Again, I invested quite a bit into LinkedIn. So if you do, I mean, I think I saw your post recently, was it not even sometime this week, where you did something around PR and then you announced it on LinkedIn. So, I mean, if you know you can't do free promo, something must give, right? So what must give is ultimately what Mabel is saying. So either you start leveraging on content distribution as one avenue, or of course you spend money on giveaway.
And sorry again, when you leverage on those platforms, what exactly are you putting there? So if you find if a brand is coming to reach out to you on LinkedIn, for instance, they'll come to reach to you on LinkedIn, they find you there. But what you will keep them is a number of things that you've constantly shown that you have been doing that is relevant to their ask. So Toyota comes, for instance, and they see that, oh, you've done this, you've done that. Then they can further drive that engagement with you. But if they're not able to show proof those things, yes, they connect with you, but how far can you sustain that engagement?
That's key. I mean, thank you again for your input. I really appreciate it. We are definitely going to go practical. So I think we do this soft part, and then hoping that down the line, maybe we'll start looking into the practical part of it. I'm guessing that's a yes from you if we invite you again for practical session.
I will try, yeah, as long as it, I mean, I love that what I do. As long as it connects with my timing, I will.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate. If there's any one last thing you want to say to our audience, maybe you can share.
So for me, I think it's just us understanding that this work, this profession demands a lot from us. And I'm saying this because tools are available, platforms are available, channels are available, but there is a lot of work that we need to do as practitioners, where we understand the craft itself, where we understand the platforms that are available, when we also understand the customers that we engage in, to be able to marry all of these things together, to say, at what point do I create what communication messaging to drive what? In the course of the conversation today, we've been able to look at technology, we've been able to look at artificial intelligence, we've been able to look at how to measure success, what success means to us. We've been able to look at even the channels that are available. Why do people want you to communicate with them in certain way? So you see that there are a lot of things that professionals, the practitioners, we need to understand beyond just ticking the box. If we take our time to, if we're grounded in that, what will happen is, as consumer behavior changes, we are able to adapt with it. We're able to say, oh, because this has moved from A to B, I need to impute this. Because again, this has, remember, we're talking about data gathering, when we're talking about how to revalidate the data, when we're talking about what one data would mean to the other. All of these things, they are very, very, very important. And as practitioners, as confectioners, as startups, we need to take our time to do this. When we do that, we're able to measure, a success. We're able to also not stay too long on trying to achieve our objectives. For me, so that will be my overall submission for this conversation. And I believe that again, if we put all of this understanding together, what you will see that you're not looking at platform as a separate entity. You're not looking at channel as a separate entity. You see how WhatsApp helps you with email marketing. You see how email marketing helps you with social media. You see how the messaging suits here, because this is what customers want to see here. So understanding the channel, understanding the people, understanding their behavior, understanding the technology, understanding the timing would give you a proper understanding on how to use all of these things together to be able to achieve your objectives at the end of the day. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much. It has been an incredible session. Very, very detailed. I really, really appreciate your time. And thank you to everyone that joined. Victory Lloyd, she was the one that put all this together. She's a team member of ours as well. Moving forward, we will try to do better. I think we want to start doing this almost twice per month. So if you want to keep joining, follow us on our social handle, on Facebook at Yournotify, on IG at Yournotify. You can always also follow me on LinkedIn. I'm trying to speak more on LinkedIn. So, and then of course, you can follow Mabel Adeteye. She's the head brand communication for Wema Bank. So follow her on LinkedIn as well. So thank you once again, everyone, and have a wonderful weekend.